So the first step into the server side attack is to gather information. So information gathering is very important because it will show us the operating system of the target, then install program or running services on the target, the port associated with the services, and etc. Now from these installed services we can try to and get into the system. We can do this by trying the default password, and as we seen before in the network penetration testing part, so when the service is installed, it basically gives you the full access to the computer. So if the person still uses the default password which was at the time, we can do this by any other service, and we'll see another example today. So another thing we can do is there is a lot of people and services they misconfigure them, and then we'll have enable another example of this. So sometimes a lot of services are designed to give some remote person some access to the computer, but they obviously need to have some security implementation. So people often miss this configure, also miss these services. So we can take advantages of this mystery configuration and gaining access to the computer. So another problem with these services is some of them might even have a backdoor and install, and a lot of them would have vulnerabilities such as remote for buffer overflow or code execution vulnerabilities that will allow us to again gain full access to the computer. Now the simplest way of doing this is something that we have seen before and also use them. So we also use them but also not using the IP. So we got a full list of these services, and then Google maybe has each one of them and see if it contains any vulnerabilities. Now to see, I just need to convey the idea of anything in a computer that we have seen or we see before limit us to the devices. So the device is actually a website. It has a website for running, so the websites are nothing different than this. If you want to get an IP of our website, then all you have to do is one thing. If you do like, okay, let's go to our meta exploitable machine, and if you just ping and want to know the IP of your Facebook, just simply type ping facebook.com. As you can see, this is the IP address of Facebook. So we have Facebook IP address that will able to run the nmap and guess it a lot of services that are running on Facebook. Now obviously I'm not going to do that because I'm not allowed to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a setting up against a meta exploitable device, which is this one. As you can see, meta exploitable, this is another device, and I will be running this meta exploitable device on my Kali Linux machine, which basically is a computer device, and that's where we're going to interested in testing. So again, I cannot really distress this anymore. Anything is a computer, whether it's website, a server, an online service, a phone, everything is a computer. So we can go about penetration testing anything the same way. So I'm going to not only answer but going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to run on my activities that are on running on my meta exploitable device. So let's first know our IP address. So our IP address is, as you can see, 192.168.1.11. So first then let's run our Zenmap. So I'm going to use my meta exploitable IP address, which is, as you can see, this one, and we'll use the intense scan. So it will take some time, and it will give me a list of all the installed application on our meta exploitable device. So let's wait. As you can see, this is still running because as this is a okay, I think it's okay, it's still running. So this is the same way that you need to do for all of those services that you want to know. So let's wait for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, I think. Okay, it's nearly done. Okay, let's start from here. So just if you want to do a simple test, what you have to do, you have to just do the port read. As you can see, there are lots of ports are running in here. As you can see, lots of open port for both SSH, Telnet, FTP, HTTP, and all of those TCP protocols. So let's go for nmap output. So for example, we have port 21. As you can see, the port 21 is open, which is an FTP port. So FTP is a service that I allow to install or allow to upload or download files from the remote server. So you can see usually FTP service uses a username and password, but you can see the service is misconfigured and it allows anonymous login. As you can see, logged in as FTP. So we can see usually FTP servers are like this. So unlike the SSH that we used before in the network penetration testing that we had, so we had to use default password with this, but you will be able to log in without a password using FTP in our Metaexploitable machine. So if you just copy this, the version name, and search it in our Google. So let's search it. As you can see, this is the backdoor command execution. So you can literally Google this and see if it has any issues and it has any misconfiguration, and it will show any of the code execution exploit. And as you can see, this has backdoor command execution. So this has a factor that has installed on it. So let's make it shorter. Let's use port 512. So let's look on the port 512 and let's copy it and search it to see what it shows in Google. As you can see, we couldn't find anything that we reached on port 512. As you can see, 512 is open, but we couldn't search anything. So literally I don't know what's this, but if you copy and Google this, and they will see a result in here, and we can see that this is a remote execution program. So that's very nice, that's cool. So if you manage to log in with this, you will be able to execute command on the target computer that it uses as RSH or login. So that's a program that ships with the Linux that allow you similarly like SSH. So you can in a way it will let you execute remote command on the target computer. So let's go back and see. Okay, let's just delete this and search. As you can see, this is from Ubuntu. As you can see, we are also running on Ubuntu. As you can see, this machine is based on Ubuntu, our Metaexploitable machine. So it is a RSS client service to connect, and this RSS service that you need to install to connect to the server. So let's go to our terminal and install our RSH service. So what you have to do when you need to install any program, you need to just type apt get install and name of the client, which is RHS client. As you can see, is installing, and it will take some time, but it will install automatically. So our RSS client is installed, so we need to configure it. So just type RSS client named as rlogin, RSH. Okay, let's type rlogin and let's see the help option. RSH client RSH. So okay, so I think it's with r login, ROLIN minus help. As you can see, this is the uses option that you can use using rlogin. So rlogin, this is the minus character. So minus E for character, I for user, L for user, and P for port. So once it installed, you can use rlogin to login, because remember the first page of all of this is rlogin program to facilitate the login process. So if you just type this one, so rlogin minus L, for we want to use the root access and we want to use our meta exploitable machine, which is IP address as you can see 101, then it will, as you can see, we are right now into our meta exploitable machine. You can see type ID to see, as you can see we are right now on root, and if you type pwd, and also you can see we are right now in our root folder. So we can access from here using this rlogin method to remote control our meta exploitable machine. As you can see, meta exploitable, this is right now in meta exploitable mode. So the key point in here is to remove a bscan and then go on and search for each port that you want to find on the Google, and you will be looking for the misconfiguration or default password. So if this target service came in a backdoor or code execution, maybe it wasn't programmed properly. So all it had a flaw, and we can use this to gain access to the computer similarly like we did in our meta exploitable machine. Now that's all for it for our information gathering part.